Hello, this is Ben Moore, Finance Manager for the Office of Community Assistance, and this video will help walk you through budgeting for the Client Assistance Budget tab. This video will cover budget line items for CSBG. It'll be budget line items 201, which is Direct Client Assistance, 202, Indirect Client Assistance, 203, Client Assistance Scholarships. For the weatherization grants, it will cover budget line item 201, Materials and Labor, 202, Health and Safety. And for the LIHEAP grants, it will address budget line items 201, which is client benefits, and 202, which is assurance 16. The cost outline in this video addressed the client assistance budget line items for each grant, LIHEAP, weatherization, and LIHEAP. The program-specific assistance lines for CSBG are client assistance, the direct client assistance line, which is 201. This category relates only to aid received by or paid to a vendor on behalf of a specific CSBG client. For example, it is considered direct assistance if the cost can easily be tied to a specific individual. Costs would include food vouchers, clothing, medicine, utilities, disaster relief, homeless aid, transportation, trade skills, training opportunities lasting 12 months or less, those kinds of items. The indirect client assistance is budget line item 202 for CSBG, and this cost category relates to expenditures for CSBG benefits or services as part of a broader program with many participants. For example, it is considered indirect assistance if the cost cannot easily be tied to a specific individual. The cost included in this category would be food pantries, food kitchens, emergency crisis materials, workshop materials, and garden projects. Budget line item 203 is client assistance scholarships. This category relates only to the CSBG scholarship program. For the CSBG client assistance line items, the minimum requirements for the cost detail grid are as follows. The work program name and number must be included along with a brief description. As far as the minimum requirements for the narrative section, the narrative is pre-filled with the statement "See CSBG Work Program Summary Sheet for details on the work program." So you don't need to add anything more on the narrative unless additional narrative is needed if you want to clarify something further. The program-specific client assistance for weatherization are the following line items. 201 is materials and labor. This category relates to direct client benefits received in the form of services performed on the home. The costs include any material and labor cost to apply energy conservation measures within the guidelines of the program. The health and safety budget line item, which is 202, this category relates to direct client assistance received in the form of health and safety services performed on the home. These costs include any material and labor cost to apply the health and safety measures specifically within the guidelines of the program. For the weatherization client assistant line items 201 and 202, here are the minimum requirements for the cost grid detail. For line 201, the grantees only need to enter in cell F7 the amount of materials and labor that you want to budget from your total material and labor health and safety allocation that was listed on the allocation that was distributed by OCA. All the other fields have been pre-filled by OCA. Similarly, in line 202 for material or health and safety, the grantee would just budget the amount of the total material and labor health and safety allocation that they would like to budget for health and safety. So essentially between lines 201 and 202, the grantee needs to split the total material and labor health and safety allocation between those two line items. As far as the narrative section, the narrative has been pre-filled identifying the material and labor cost and the health and safety cost. So it is unnecessary for grantees to add any additional information in the narrative section. The program-specific client assistance for LIHEAP are lines 201, which are regular client benefits, and line 202, which is assurance 16. For line 201, that cost category relates to direct client benefits received as payments made on behalf of customers. The costs include benefits for utility payments. For line item 202, which is assurance 16, you need to include the cost to provide non-financial services that encourage and enable households to reduce their home energy needs and thereby the need for energy assistance. You cannot include costs related to intake or eligibility determination in this line item. Potential items to include would be needs assessment, counseling, assistance with energy vendors. For the LIHEAP client assistance line items, the minimum requirements for the cost grid detail. For line 201, the grantee only needs to enter the amount of client benefits in cell E7, and you would find these on your LA allocation listing that was distributed by OCA. All the other fields have been pre-filled by OCA. As far as line item 202, which is assurance 16, you need to provide a brief description and the costs that you plan to incur for those assurance 16 activities. The minimum requirements for the narrative section. For 201, the narrative has been pre-filled with the statement, the client benefit amounts listed above will be utilized to provide energy assistance program benefits to eligible customers. So nothing additional is needed there. But as far as assurance 16, if you choose to budget for those costs, in that narrative section, you will need to describe the initiatives that you're going to perform with the assurance 16 funds. Please remember that separate videos are available as guides to completing each of the individual cost tabs in the budget spreadsheet. Thanks for watching.